can we just have more movies of men being able to heal and be vulnerable?
Come on.
Like, can we just manifest that for a moment?
Do that?
Yes.
Like, it's gonna happen, it's done.
Yeah.
I really love with Mister, we get to see, this evil person.
Mm-hmm.
But but we get to see where that comes from.
I like to say he's troubled.
Okay, he's troubled. I mean, but in some sense, he's kind of evil.
He's also vile.
Yes.
But I think, the thing that we don't do a lot is we don't ask the questions, like why? And I feel because if we ask why, that's actually more human.
Yeah.
That means you have to actually examine it within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the journey was for me, to really find a way. The first thing I had to do is I had to hold Mr. I had to love him deeply and find out what his dreams are, what his wants, needs, aspirations, and what happens if he doesn't get it. And then what makes him feel small in the world and makes him do the thing that he does. But also, even as I'm examining it, as I'm talking about him today, I feel like there's something about our trauma sometimes when we have trauma. It's like you never know if it's meant to move you to somewhere else that you're supposed to be. What can you overcome? What brings you to that place, the fullness of the person you were always supposed to be in some way? So maybe that's the thing, the bigger picture for me is everything is not, even the things that kept you down and kept you feeling small and abused you, but if you rise like a phoenix.
Come on.
It becomes your superpower and your gift in some way. So I think that's what we're examining. I'm not justifying anything that Mr. does in any way. I'm just saying just to examine it and look at it and look at the purpose of how it can be used in your life and make you stronger and whole,
I was like, you gonna preach this, Adele?
Yeah.
Preach this.
Yeah, I mean, for Harpo, when you talk about manifesting, just men being okay with that vulnerability, and the great part about working with a great artist like Colman and Blitz is that we gave ourselves permission to go there and to explore possibility of love between a father and a son, and what happens, when that love is not there, and that trauma. It's like hurt people, we know that, right? But what do we do with that?
Right.
What is the work? Yeah. What are the questions we're asking? And the beautiful part about Harpo, and why I also love him, is that with this character, we get to see a young man break the cycle. We get to see him make a choice. We get to see him love this black woman with all of his heart.
This strong
black woman with all of his heart. This woman who has a voice in a time where women weren't given a voice or weren't allowed to share their voice. And I love that about him. And I think that's the thing that empowers him to change, because if he didn't have a Sophia, he might end up like his father. He might end up like his grandfather, and that's where the trauma comes from.
But that's what I love about the movie. You have all these different characters that really impact one another to have a voice, to fight for each other. And I want to know, for the both of you, either personally and professionally, what was that moment when you learned to use your voice to fight for yourself?
Wow. I think there are moments in our lives, in our careers, and I think maybe it just takes courage. And I know that mine was probably even recent, in the last maybe 3 years or so, when I knew I had to advocate for myself in a different way. When you start to know your value and your what you value and your worthiness, and you come up against systems that say, "Oh no, you're only this," and you're like, "Actually, no, I'm not," and I'm just advocating. I always try to advocate in a very holistic way, and just trying to be clear.
Yeah.
I will come up with the research, the numbers, the blah, blah, blah. I'm saying,
simple.
it's pretty simple, actually.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, and I want I've always looked at the world or the universe, say, I need you to meet me where I see me as well. That's where you start to find power. That does take courage.
Yeah.
It takes courage because, people try to, just be under the radar, but at some point you just say, but if you say it, I think, with love and respect and in a very sort of holistic way, I think you're just trying to get them to hear and think the way you think and how you value yourself.
Yeah,
right?
I think I've also, I agree with that, and I hear that, and I think for myself, I remember just being in a place where I was willing to just and I think a lot of us and artists, when you get to a place where you can start to sit in that sacrifice because you know your worth your value is so much more. And you don't take anything less because you know what God has in store for you. When you get to that place, can't nobody touch you, you know?
Yeah.
And what's yours is yours. You know, we talk about our journeys and how far, and it might take longer for some and shorter for others, but what's yours will be yours. And so I think I am also realizing that more recently, and also looking to people like Colman, artists like Colman, who, you know, lead with that kind of ethos. And I think that's dope. And I think you have to be willing to sit in that to find your voice.
And it's uncomfortable. And it seems uncomfortable at times too, right? To get started with that. But you like at some point you start to wear it a bit more, and you're like, okay, this feels all right. Because it's like if it's grounded and sincere, and it's not about ego, it's just about whether it's fairness or valuing yourself. Yeah. That's all one can do.
I love that. Y'all better pour into me today.
Thank you for pouring into us.
you.
I mean, you are come on, look at this thing. I mean, are y'all getting the look what God Thank you.
Look, I just want to thank both of y'all for taking time out of your day to speak with me. I really appreciate y'all so much.
We appreciate
and
you.
always sending love and light both your ways. Thank you so much.
Back to you.
Look, there's a scene in this movie that like truly broke me to my core because it's something that I felt for so long, even being in this industry. And it's when your character tells Sophia that she was jealous of her because she know how to fight. And I feel as Black women, it's so hard for us to fight for ourselves without, and try not to cry.
It's okay.
Without being labeled as aggressive.
Difficult.
Exactly. So I want to know for all of you who are so successful in your careers, I want to know what was that moment when you felt comfortable using your voice to fight?
I'm gonna be honest, it started here. Cause I felt like I was the nice one, the southern one. I want to talk to everybody, I want to love everybody. And I was always getting walked over. And I was like, okay, hold up. When I got with Taraji and Danielle, cause you and I started having conversations in that little room where we all had, and we started talking about certain things. We're both Carolina girls. And we both felt like in our past, we were going through a lot of things, and we wanted to be who we are, and we didn't feel accepted. We felt overlooked. The night I came to see her on Broadway, I remember seeing her. She spoke and she walked, and I picked up in my spirit then a lot of things that we don't even got to go into, but I was just like, okay, I get it. Speaking and being around this one, real talk. It's nothing like having another Black woman to sit down and teach you and show you. Okay, I've been through that, so don't do this. Try this. Don't let them, da-da-da-da-da. I feel like now I'm finally standing up and being comfortable with who I am.
My thing, too, can I say something?
Go ahead, baby.
Is also like, sometimes I think for all three of us, there's a gift. We have something inside of us, right? But sometimes people are so intimidated by that gift and feel threatened by that gift. So to be in a space with these three women where we can all allow each other to shine and be seen without dimming our lights, that's a gift.
And without the competition.
Right.
Yeah,
Come on,
without
baby.
the competition.
And then we
feels
need more of
good.
that. It does, because like nobody's taking anything from anyone. You know,
And there's room for everybody.
That's what it is.
There is room for, and I think that's what's so beautiful for me with this whole campaign. We all look different. And, you know, to be a young Black girl now, wow, because I didn't have it. When I came in the industry, it was one at a time. And you had to wait your turn. And I fought hard. I kept getting told I was too edgy. I was too this. I was too that. I said, but guess what? Somebody out there needs my voice, and I knew it. And I stood here and I fought. And because you're going to get told no a lot. All you need is one yes. So I got my yes, and here I am.
I just want to thank y'all. I just wish I had more time to speak with y'all. I just appreciate everything you've done, everything I know you're going to do. Just thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with me. I'm just sending nothing but love and light all your way.
And we're sending it back your way. Keep doing your thing, queen.
It's hard.
Shining your
I'm
light.
so happy that you filmed in Georgia.
Yes.
Everything looks so beautiful. And then to find out that you actually went and found all these different locations in Georgia. Like, can you speak more about that? Because you was putting me onto some things.
Oh, for sure. I mean, for me, location is character. It always starts with location. And if I know where it's going to be, then I know who needs to be there. I know what they're supposed to be wearing. I know what they're supposed to be doing. And so as soon as I got this job, I would just drive 7 hours a day And I would just keep driving and just searching for places, unique places with character. That for me has always been the biggest, most important thing. Because location is character, it has to have those characteristics. And the storytelling has to exist in the environment as well. So whether it was finding the swamp that Shagavy's barge comes on, or the beach with the deadwood trees, or Mister's house that sits on that beautiful hill. I mean, there were all these places that I knew would be almost tell the story. Like Mister's house feels like a citadel, like a prison. Celie's going to be entrapped there. There's nobody around her. So we couldn't put Mister's house around other houses because then she has an environment. So these were all choices we had to make very early.
I like that. When I saw that beach, I was like, this is nice.
Yes.
I was like, it's really beautiful. But one of the things that I really appreciate about the film is, you know, you have all these characters who really learn to find their voice.
Yes.
And they become free.
Yes.
And I want to know for you as a creative, like, what was that project or what was that moment for you where you felt like you creatively finally found your voice?
I will say it was in my very first movie called The Burial of Kojo. I went to Ghana to make it, and I had only $40,000 that I'd saved up, and because I tried to raise funds for it and nobody would give me a dime. And so that was all I had. But with that also came lots of creative freedom. And it's crazy because a few months before I went down to shoot, I run into Steven Spielberg at a TED conference. This is way before Color Purple. It's 2016. And you know how you're at a conference and people are moving around. I go, I got to go talk to that guy. So I just wait around, hang around, and then finally I get him. So I walk up to him and I go, hey, Mr. Spielberg, I plan to go make my first film. Is there any advice? I just want one piece of advice you can give me. Just one. I don't need two. I don't need three. Just one. And he goes, your voice. Your voice is the only reason I'll ever see anything you'll ever do. I said, cool. So I went to Ghana, and literally every shot I'll turn to my DP and go, does this feel like my voice? And we kept doing that. And as fate will have it, that film is what Steven saw and hired me for this film. So, you know, it was beyond the full circle moment. And so, yes, in making The Burial of Kojo, I did find my voice.
In a movie with all these powerhouses, and then you still just find a way to captivate the screen.
Thank you.
And one of the things that I really love about young Celie, and even Celie as she still gets older, is Celie has imagination. She has dreams. So we're going to manifest for a little bit, okay?
Oh, okay.
We need to manifest. Sometimes we got to manifest some things. So I want to know, like, what's a dream that you haven't accomplished yet that, this is the top of my list?
Oh, my goodness. You have stumped me. Okay, I'm going to throw some things out. Is it okay?
We're going to do a whole list.
Okay.
We're going to manifest it all.
Okay, great. I want to EGOT.
Okay, done.
I want to play Viola Davis's daughter in something, in a movie. Disney princess.
Okay.
Let's see. Meeting Leo DiCaprio.
Okay.
And going to Oprah's house.
Okay. It's all going to happen.
It sure will.
You said it out loud. We manifested. It's done.
Done.
Okay. And we're going to, next time I talk to you about your next project with Viola, then we're gonna check another one off the list.
Yes, let's do it. Well, I manifested this, so I'm the manifesting queen.
I love that this is a movie about women learning how to fight for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I want to know for you, like, who was that person that really, like, helped you find your voice? That, like, helped you feel okay with, like, you know what, it's okay for me to fight for myself and for what I deserve?
Oh, I love that question because there are so many. I have been embraced and loved, cared for, empowered, supported by Black women my entire life. And I think the big person who is in my life right now is I have a dear friend, Kalila. She, to me, is like my Shug Avery. I have a bit of Celie in me where I'm a little docile. I can be shy and kind of introverted at first. And she saw me. We worked together. We did The Lion King for many years together. And she kind of saw me and, like, would hear me sing in the corner. She'd be like, girl, you can sing. You better sing out. And I'd be like, oh, no. You know, I just sing what's in the show. And really just empowered me. And we have a whole story around my hair. I had to cut my hair for the show. And I'd never had my natural hair out. And she took me to different beauty supply stores and just tried different hair products in my hair to find out what works for me, taught me how to do it. And you know, our hair is like our crown. So that was really moving and powerful for me. And she's been pouring love into me since the day we met.
That's a good friend right there.
She's everything.
Did you know how many hair salons you got to go to find the right product?
It was a lot. And then she left me. She was like, okay, well, you have like 30. Try them out. I'll come back when you're ready.
But I like that you bring up, like, that you were such a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
So, like, how was it, like, doing this number? Like, singing with all these great singers you have a duet with. Talk about, like, really using your voice to sing in this film.
Everyone was just really supportive. You know, I'm in this profession by my own choice. It wasn't necessarily my family's dream for me to be here. You know, we're Africans. My mom was like, you need to be a doctor. But I was like, I'm going to be an actor. And, you know, I got to rely on my training and just surrounded by, like, I mean, Fantasia, who's such a musician. And she really was like, the song's not going to make sense unless you make it your own. You can't be a carbon copy. She was like, don't be a carbon copy of me because I'm not playing the role, you're playing the role. And just really gave me permission to step into my own and just use my own voice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Look, I can't wait to see what's in store for you. We are manifesting our list. It's coming to fruition. I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with me, and I'm just sending nothing but love and light your way.
Oh my gosh,
I hope
thank
have
you
a
so
great
much.
day.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.